Welcome back everyone to another build video. Today, as promised, I have completed the Magicka Templar build for one tamriel. There are some patch notes available at the moment for the new PTS, obviously, so there are some changes that will come in future patches, but based on what I've seen already, first of all, they won't affect this build at all, and secondly, we'll see what actually comes of it. Maybe some of it will come through, maybe some of it won't. Traditionally with Templars at the moment you see a lot of dual wield, obviously for more spell damage, and a flame staff on the back for the fire damage, and Groftar and the fire ultimate, all that kind of stuff. I'm not using any of those, the last ones for specifically. I'm using a lightning staff, and I'm not using any monster sets because I don't think you need them. One thing that probably will come straight through from the new patch is the proc sets no longer crit. PvP, this probably won't make much of a difference because most people are running Impen anyway, so the crits aren't that important. PvE, this is probably going to have a pretty big impact. The monster sets will still be powerful, there's no doubt about that, but people are getting a lot of free DPS off of these procs, especially as far as crits are concerned. Crazy stuff like Groftar hitting up to 10k is stupid. Vulcan Scoria I've seen hit 24, 26 and higher sometimes depending on buffs going. That's all going to go. You're still going to get good damage, but all that stuff's going to go. So the really high DPS classes using the monster sets are going to have still very high DPS, but they're going to drop a bit in terms of that side of their build. This particular build already outperforms in terms of DPS the monster setups, and with the new patch, once they lose their crit as well, this is still going to stay exactly where it is, and the other ones will fall back a little bit. They're still going to be powerful, but not as strong. So I'm going to show you why I'm not using a monster set, and I'll show you stats, skills, reasons for them, and all the rest of it. Let's start with the gear. Let's start with the gear. We're using 3-piece willpower on the front bar. That's 2 swords, both sharpened, for the extra damage bonus from the dual wield passive, which is here. In case you didn't already know, you get 2.5% damage done per sword, so 5% overall for having swords. They're both sharpened, so penetration is really high, 5k-ish for the two. And on the back bar I'm using a sharpened lightning staff of willpower also. So on the front bar you have 3 willpower. On the back bar, because you have 1 weapon, you have 2 willpower, which means on the back bar you'll still have the Magicka bonus. The Magicka bonus is, well, this Magicka bonus is set on about 140 spell damage. That's equivalent to in terms of actual damage numbers that come up, because it's a 10-to-1 ratio. 1.4k Magicka is roughly 140 spell damage in terms of what you actually see in performance. Twice Born Star, we're using 5 pieces of that, with 1 medium, 1 heavy, and all the rest are light. And I'm using 2 pieces Infallible Ether on the armor, and then the further 2 pieces on the jewelry. You see I've got a willpower ring there, that's the 3rd piece of willpower. So 4 ether, 5 Twice Born, and 3 willpower. Willpower's just purely for all the damage, and ether not for the 5th piece, which is a crit and heavy and light attack bonuses, heavy attack bonuses, sorry, but for the crit, minor slayer, and spell damage. You can use Moondancer, but you won't get the crit, so you will struggle with this particular setup. But if you use something with more crit on it instead of Twice Born, then that would be fine also. But my armor's really broken, sorry. Where do we go? We'll go to character stats. 64 in magic, don't need anything else, go full magic. Thief Stone and the Shadow Stone, obviously. Minor Slayer is part of the setup we're using, so we get more damage in dungeons and trials. Almost 42k Magicka. When Zenimax finally lets us make jewelry quality increase, if they ever do, then I'll hit 42. So Zenimax, let me have a gold willpower ring please. Then I can go 42 Magicka. That's the only reason you need it. Nobody else wants it. I just need it for 42k. Let's get the potion on. Spell damage is 2900, almost 3k. Vampire's Bane on. I'll explain this passive in a moment. Will put us to 3k. Weapon proc 3.4, almost 3.5 with no trial buffs. Cool. Nice. I'll get to the Dawn's Wraith passives in a minute. Use Vampire's Bane, puts us to... Oh, need a potion. Puts us to 355. Weapon proc. Oh, don't log out. 3490 spell damage with a weapon proc. Getting run over by a mammoth. Without trial buffs, you're almost 3.5k spell damage if you're weaving correctly. But that's all to do with passives as well, and the weapon glyph. The weapon glyph is, of course, weapon and spell damage. You can put a damage one on this one because they don't stack together. Only one, all the other fires, and they have a cooldown. So change this if you want. Perhaps Crusher, maybe just some magic damage, it's up to you. Or lightning damage, that would be quite nice, based on the set. This one, it's fine as it is. You can have that as a Crusher as well, but you don't really use the weapon on the back bar that much, unless of course you are heavy attacking for magic back. But light attack weaving, that's a pretty good one because you only use it once or twice per rotation, so you get about 4k out of that if you're lucky. Skills. This is the important one. Vampire's Bane, really powerful dot, single target dot in fact. It does give you a crit bonus when you activate it, but that's not why we use it. We use it for the other Dawn's Wraith passive, Dawn's Wrath passive even, which is... where have I gone? First of all, you get ultimate for using it. Secondly, you give you and your group minor sorcery, 5% extra spell damage, which is why it went up when we casted it. The last 20 seconds, our rotation is generally 8 to 10 seconds anyway, so that's up 100% of the time if you pay attention to it. Beast Trap, most people know what this does. Rearming Trap, actually. You put the trap down, pops under the enemy, 6 seconds worth of minor force, 12% crit. Then it rearms, pops again, another 6 seconds. By that time you're on the next rotation and you put it in again and you just rotate and it just stays on all the time. It's a crit buff. Basically it gives you more damage. Also it's part of the fighter skill, but that won't be relevant for this set because we're Magicka, but still it's really important. That is going to change during the patch apparently. Whether that comes through from PTS I don't know, but it's going to go down to 10%, not 12, which is a minor drop, but we can plug that gap with the new champion points that we're getting, and that will actually give us more than what this is already doing, so that's not a problem. Jesus Beam, Radiant Glory, there's a reason I use this version. Radiant Oppression is the other morph, which does more damage the more magic you have. That is a misled tooltip. It is not how much magicka you have. It's not... where's my character sheet? It's not that. Oh shit, my food ran out. Hold on. The 41k there, 42 almost. It's not that pool. It's the percentage of magic you have left. So however much magic you have left in your bar is how the bonus then is applied to your actual ability. And in most cases, or maybe all cases, at execute phase when you should be using this, you're pretty much low on resources anyway, so you're going to get the lower end of the increase to damage. If you've got full magicka when you're on execute phase, you have not been doing your job properly. You should have good sustain, but you shouldn't be full. So instead of getting the weaker version of that dot and execute as well, I use the healing version, which in all situations is incredibly powerful. It will keep you up through stack ups where you will take multiple dots and ticks of damage. It will keep you alive in Maelstrom while you execute, and it will keep you alive in PvP as well. It's really powerful. 50%, where is it? Where's the heal? 20% of the damage inflicted. The biggest Jesus Beam I have seen is... from multiple different people, including myself, is between 72 and 78,000 per tick. That's crit, obviously. 20% of that is basically your full health. if you can crit that also. Occasionally you get the extra bonuses from healers if they're using heal and receive bonuses on the floor with their sets and all the rest of it. Your own heal and receive bonuses as well give you a stack up percentage of that. You can heal to full. Let's give this guy a little bit of a smack. I'll show you. I'll let him hit me a bit. Come on. Oh no, don't kill him, don't kill him! Hit me. Okay, health down. Jesus beam. Not a chance. That was a small one, but... Who's this dude? Go away. Go away. Right, let's get him down a bit. No! Terrible demonstration. Let's get him down. So he's execute range. I also want him to hit me a little bit. Come on, give me some shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Boom! Look at that. Killed him and healed myself. Powerful as hell. Also, if you're standing in rune focus, that heal is increased by 25%, which we will get to when we explain the front bar skills. Anyway, next one's puncture and sweeps. Very, 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 very powerful. If people don't know what this is, you have probably been hidden under a rock or haven't played Templar before. Heals you for 43% of your damage done while you're standing inside this, but we'll get to that. I think that increases this too. Yeah, 25% of damage done. There you go. It's this. Stabby stabby. Every hit will hurt the enemy and heal you as well. So the more enemies you hit, it's area effect as well, by the way. The more enemies you hit, the more heals you get. Obviously it hits the one at the front for the more damage, but the rest of them still get hit a decent amount, and basically the more ads you have, the less likely you are to die if you can spam it. Unless you get hit by a one shot. We need to help this guy. Oh shit, he's dead. Oh, the mobs ran off. That's a boss, leave it alone. Oh, he's gonna run in again. Don't, I'm trying to do a video. Don't die. Brilliant. Right, let's get back on with the skills. Mage Light, or Inner Light, this morph too. Don't worry about the PvP aspect of it uncloaking people who are invisible. We use this for max... Go away. I'm glad you're having fun, but I need to show this. Right, try again. It's so distracting. Max magic 5% increase plus crit bonus. So the crit bonus obviously is why we don't need to worry about this being applied all the time, although we will have it on all the time. We don't use that just for the crit, but you could instead of this, but we use this purposely for the max magic, the 5%. It's huge. It's a really big buffer to our resources and increases our damage quite a lot. This is obviously your Ice Comet, Max Major skills, ultimate skill. You won't be using it. You can, but I don't use it. Purely because the ultimate on the back bar is much, much stronger, and technically if you miss a crit on the first hit on this one, it's pretty much wasted. It's just a dot, essentially. So the other one we use is stronger. I'll now go into that bar. So, Harness Magicka. It's a shield. Yes, we're using a shield. I know people don't like to because they like to Zerg burn, but you're going to die if you don't use one. Also, it gives you magic back if you get hit with magic spells or whatever. So you get hit with this as on, you receive resources back, and Templars struggle with resources generally. Rune Focus will also get to a little bit ahead of time. This gives you 120 magicka every 0.5 seconds and increases both of your physical resistances by 5.2k. It lasts 18 seconds. Also while you're inside of it, I'll show you the passives in a second. It lasts 18 seconds. If you leave it, it still stays on you for a further 8 seconds. So it's a really long buff. Really, really nice. So even now it's run out, I'm still glowing. So it's not 18 seconds, it's actually like 26. But if you leave it 8 seconds, reapply it, starts again. You do what you want with it, it's really good. But I would recommend standing inside of it. If you use this while using Harness Magicka, this increases your heals, this lets you survive, and you can heal while you're inside of it. So shield yourself, hit stuff, this gives you magic back, This gives you magic back if you get hit with magic. So those two work hand in hand. Use this in an emergency. Use Rune Focus all the time. Just keep that going. The passive for that, where I'm explaining that heals more, you do obviously need to see that. And it is... not that one. Where's the hell's it gone? Ah, here we are. While standing in your own cleansing ritual, Rune Focus or Rite of Passage. Now this is the morph of Rune Focus, Channeling Focus. You gain Major Mending, increases your healing done by 25% while standing inside of it and after leaving for 4 seconds. So, while this is down, all these and the Jesus Beam you use, everything like that, all heals for 25% extra. Which is why, let's let this run out first. Come on, run out. You'll see here, as I showed you a minute ago, a little bit ahead of time. This heals you for 35% of the damage done, and this heals you for 20% of the damage done. Now if you put this on, heals you for 25, not 20. And this heals you for 43, not 35. And that all stacks with healing received as well, which means you can basically, as long as you've got this up, if you get a good hit on one puncturing sweeps and you're around 5-10% health, you can almost heal yourself to full. Sometimes you actually can, depends on how lucky you are, but it's really powerful. There's a friggin' giant standing right beside me. Okay, the rest of the skills on the bar. The other one, Mage Light again, we double bar it, so we get double bonus to Magicka on both bars. As you can see here, it's on both of them. The crit bonus as well carries over, so we get that twice. So we don't have to worry about not having crit on either one of the two bars, it's on both of them. Also, Mage Light and Ice Comet are used specifically because of the Mage's Guild passives. Which if you go down to here, 2% extra recovery and max magic for each ability slotted. So, on this bar, we have an extra 2% recovery and max magic. On the front bar we actually have more. We have 4% recovery and 4% max magic, which all add to our damage. You'll spend the majority of your time on the front bar though, so that's why we don't have Ice Comet on the back one. We use Thunderous Rage, which is the morph of... it's Elemental Rage it's called, but I'm using a lightning staff so the name changes. It's the morphed version of the Destro ulti, and it's the one that you target and fire, not the one that sticks to you and you run around with in PvP. So make sure you morph it for Rage. It does 2 extra seconds worth of damage, and I will get to all the passives and champion points as to why this is so important, but above all this is incredibly high damage. So we use this, we fire this off, then we switch to our front bar and make sure it does as much damage as possible on the front. Because if you just leave it on the back, it will do high damage because you are using a sharpened staff, but it's higher on the front because of the 2 weapons. And the most important one of all, actually 2, Wall of Elements, Elemental Blockade, morphed for Elemental Blockade on Lightning. Does this. In a moment I will show you why. And the last one is Blazing Spear. This does, initially it does a pretty high hit when it first lands. It does stun, but that's been removed, so don't worry about the stun. Anyone can pick it up and receive extra stamina and recovery. If you've got plenty of them running a trial, people can pick them up all the time, proc Alkosh, whatever they want to do. And it's got a small dot attached to it. That death over time looks smaller than it is. It can actually crit for around 2.5-3k if you're lucky, maybe even higher in a trial. But we have that on the back bar and puncturing sweeps on the front bar for a very good reason, and that is because of these passives here. Now, where is it? For having an Adric Spear ability slotted, you increase your crit damage by 10%, and we're all about crit damage. Not necessarily crit chance, but making sure that when we do crit, our damage is very, very high. So you get a bonus here. You also get this really good one. 25% chance to cause an additional 1.7k physical damage or 4.9k magic damage, whichever is the highest. Obviously magic is the highest. That ends up being around 7, maybe 8k, sometimes even higher in trials specifically. It's pretty strong. 25% chance for it to happen once every 0.5 seconds. Now, the initial hit can proc it, which is bang, it can hit, and then every 1 tick has a chance to proc it as well. It's every half second, but obviously this is a 1 second tick timer. So every 1 tick could proc it, and also this has 1, 2, 3, 4 hits over 1.1 seconds. So once every 0.5 seconds, if this goes off once and then you do this straight after, you could get both, and then you could get another one at the end, and you could get one every tick for this. So that little proc there, that 25% chance once every 0.5 seconds, can actually contribute quite a lot to your DPS. So make sure you have Aedric Spear ability on both bars, so you get a crit on both bars, and make sure they're both running so they can both proc that extra damage. It's awesome. I'm going to try on this little thing here. See, there was 3 hits there. 1 tick from the dot, 1 tick from the initial hit, and you saw a 7k there as well at the end. That procced again. So the initial hit, plus the 1 tick, plus the proc. All at once. And it did it a couple of times there, instead of just the usual 2.4 to 3k damage. And so you mix the two together. Throw that, stab this. Both of them can do just as much damage each. It's really, really good. So the small dot turns into something much, much larger. Now, the complicated part. Well, the reasoning, if you like. Lightning staffs have a concussion effect to them. It's a status effect for using lightning. Now, if you double up on concussion, it turns it into off balance. Just like it would be if you block the heavy attack, it makes the enemy off balance. Now, people use flame staffs alongside magic DKs, and they all use fire to give everyone extra damage to their fire. And you'll see sorcerers using flame staffs as well, alongside their lightning, so they'll be using X amount of stuff there, and then a flame staff to make sure that they get the extra 10% damage with the DK using engulfing flames. However, your stamina guys aren't getting any buffs, are they? They're just doing their own damage. This here, if it procs off balance, gives everyone with their champion points in the right place 10% extra damage, and yourself. And this is where we come into the champion points. We'll do the lightning part at the end. Basically here, resist 75, 65, 17, just a decent balance. Dot resist, and then across the board, nice resist. These will change depending on what the situation you're in, trials, etc. Some ask for more of this, some ask for more of that. That's not set in stone, but it's a good base, especially for Maelstrom and stuff like that. It's really, really nice. And dungeons, you won't struggle. Possibly more in Elemental Defender, but it's up to you. That's not set in stone. 30 points in here, multiple reasons. 1, healing received, your puncture and sweeps, your Jesus beam heals you more, plus your heals from a healer will heal you more. The reason you have 30 is for the 2 passives here. You are a Templar and you res really, really fast, so you want to take less damage while you're resurrecting people. You will be resurrecting people in trials, otherwise you should probably be kicked out, because you don't leave people dead on the floor. And then the last passive, it gives people a huge amount of recovery for 8 seconds after you pick them up, which is really, really useful for getting them straight back into the fight. I think that goes along with the Templar passives actually, which should be restoring light. Increases resurrection speed by 20%, increases also resurrected allies return with 100% more health, so you need to be doing the resin. Unless of course you're a healer, in which case don't res unless it's an emergency. But for DPS purposes, you can really change the face of the fight. Okay, reduction to cost is really important. You're using a lot of class abilities and they are expensive. Recovery, very, very important, because you want to be able to sustain your DPS. Put a couple in tenacity for 2 reasons. 1, if I run out of stamina and I need a beast trap or I need to block or something like that, which is rare but it can happen, especially if you dodge roll and mechanics and that kind of stuff. Throw in a heavy attack. You got dual wield on the front, just heavy attack in between your weaves. It'll give your stamina back enough to block with. And also when you're on your back bar, if you are running out of magicka, you can heavy attack with a lightning staff, keep up a continuous amount of damage and still benefit from the return. So that's quite a nice one. But you don't have to have it there, you can just pump it all into recovery if you prefer. That's a minor point there. Don't put anything in there, it's rubbish. This is really important. 75 in there. Give you 20% bonus to all of your abilities, basically everything you are doing. You can put it to max, but that would be 25 points, and that would be wasting a lot of points basically. That would take all of these out here apart from 2. so don't bother with that. Make that 75, it's a nice round number for that. 27 in Elfborn to increase your crit damage even more than it already is, and your heals as well. And then some into penetration to benefit from that, because penetration is quite hard on a magic class because there's not too many debuffs to help you. I think there's one from elemental drain and or puncture, and one from Alkosh, and that's pretty much it. Don't bother with that bar, leave it alone. This one's really important, and this basically is the bread and butter of the entire build. 75 points in Thaumaturge. Not only do you have increased flat damage, you have increased death over time damage. Damage over time, even if they want to call it that in this game. It's for every single skill you use. Not liquid lightning, sorry, that's a sword. Wall of elements, the spear that you throw, your puncture and sweeps, your Jesus beam, your vampire's bane, even your heavy attack from your lightning staff, they are all death over time or damage over time, whatever you want to call it. Dots, basically. So this is going to increase all of those by that much. And the most important part is it gives you this passive. Increases your damage against off-balance targets by 10%. That's all your damage. Stacking with crits and all the rest of it, that's all your damage. So, my point was earlier, whilst the enemy's concussed, if they go off balance in that wall of elements, your damage soars. And so does anybody else's whose points are in that champion point tree. All melee put their champion points into here. Anyone doing any kind of dots, if that is your main build and you are doing dots all the time and nothing more, you need at least 75 points in here. Then whoever is knocking the enemy off balance repeatedly will get that 10% bonus. In most cases, especially in the trials that I run specifically, everyone's benefiting from that bonus. So that's really powerful. And hence where the DPS comes from on this particular build, where other people would be using a monster set, we get 10% overall when that does proc, and it procs a lot. Okay, so now you've got all the pieces. How do we put it together? First of all, this is situational. If you're in shit, put that on. There's your shield. Don't go without it. Don't even substitute it for anything else, you need it. If you don't take one, you're going to be the one dead all the time in the trial, and you're going to be the one everyone's looking at when they have to keep picking you up and wondering what you're doing wrong. Put that on. You can heal from underneath it. Really useful. This must be on all of the time. This does fit inside your rotation as well. This is your sustain, your resist, your improved heals. It's so powerful, why would you not have it on? But it doesn't do damage, so you have to be very careful how you put it in your rotation. You need to make sure that it's running for at least the full duration, and then 2 seconds after if you're on a 10-second rotation, so once every 2. So if you're doing a full rotation for 10 seconds worth of damage, that should be running the whole time. When you go to your second rotation, it will still be running. Then when you get to your third, you reapply. I'll show you how. First of all, you start off with a beast trap. That's got to be down. Hopefully that's down first. Rune focus, you can enter the fight with that. Now, you need to go with your spears for your dot on the floor, and your wall of elements for your dot on the floor. You've got to have those down. But how do you animation cancel them and in which order? This, don't animation cancel it, because if you do, your character freezes up for a split second and you can't throw the spear fast enough. But you can throw the spear during the rune focus. If you watch his animation, he'll still be moving while I've got the target up. See, it releases after he's finished, but the target's already been pressed, so he's off. Now, you can animation cancel that also with a block, if you prefer. Fuck off. I'm trying to make a video, go away. You can block it, but you don't need to, because again, there's a slight delay. So cast this normally, cast the spear quickly. The trick to this one, Wall of Elements comes straight after, but again there's a slight delay in the animation for you to fit it in, and sometimes you'll miss it and you'll switch to your front bar and there'll be no skill down. So here's how you time it. Wait for the spear to leave his hand. As soon as it leaves his hand, hit the Wall of Elements and switch. So you have to time it correct. As you can see there, that's a miss. Let it leave, hit, there. And the Wall of Elements and the spear will land at the same time, and you're on your front bar already. so you're getting full damage out of those abilities rather than getting your staff damage on them. Here, that's staff damage. That, dual wield damage. Different. So let it go, fire, switch. Really quickly. So there's your back bar, okay? Beast trap down, rune focus, fire the spear, wall of elements, switch. On your front bar, light attack, vampire's bane, block. Because you can block cancel it. This again will take practice, but there's a little bit of a sweet spot on the vampire's bane. Just run around hitting normal mobs and seeing what you can do with it. You have to find out where that block is. But where's a squirrel? Where'd he go? There's always one around here. See, you have fire and block straight away. But if you block too quickly, it won't work. So practice that one. So you light attack to power this weapon proc. That's where you light attack. So you light attack vampire's bane block like that. Off. Then every light attack, puncture and sweeps, light attack, puncture and sweeps, light attack, puncture and sweeps. 3 times. Then light attack, beast trap, swap, spear, wall of elements, switch, start again. So what you do is rune focus, spears, lightning, switch, vampire's bane, light, stab, light, stab, light, stab, light, beast trap, switch, spear, wall of elements is on. There you go. Vampire's bane, stab, 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 beast trap, switch, put the rune focus down, spear, lightning, carry on. That's a decent 8 to 9 second rotation, and the downtime for this wall of elements is minimum of 1 second, and that's on the rotation that you fit the rune focus in. You only do that once every 2, so it's really, really efficient. In terms of execute rotation, it's exactly the same. Make sure these dots are down all the time, make sure the beast trap is down all the time, and make sure instead of puncture and sweeps, you replace it with a Jesus beam. So you go light attack, vampire's bane, block, light, Jesus beam, light, Jesus beam, light, Jesus beam, beast trap, switch, spear, wall of elements, switch, vampire's bane again, light, Jesus beam, light, Jesus beam, light, Jesus beam, and that will optimize the shit out of your execute. As soon as you let this wall of elements drop, your off balance bonus is going away. As soon as you let your beast trap drop, your crit bonus is going away. Don't try and execute over top of not having those on, because if you do, your damage is going to go down. Okay. So, as far as damage goes inside the rotation, there is a member in our Trials group, who ended up getting with a little bit of a mess up on the rotation, by her own admission, because she didn't proc the spell damage glyph on the light attacks on the execute, so she missed a lot of damage on the execute, so she probably could have saved a couple of seconds there. But she got a comfortable 52 seconds on Slimecore, which is really, really good for Magicka. Especially seeing as you're supposed to hit under 55-ish for Magic. I know Templars can hit a bit higher, but she got 52 without the extra damage on the execute, so she can get higher. I've personally tested this out, and you can get with a really, really good rotation an easy 50 seconds. I'm not going to make a habit of posting DPS videos per se, because I don't generally like to show that kind of stuff, but people requested us different, and due to that I will be showing Shorty's DPS test in this video. I'll show it in just a moment. Overall, the rotation can be practiced without an enemy. It does help if you have one, but because you're a Templar and most of the abilities can be cast in an area, you can pretty much do air rotation. So if you see me running up and down Auradon, up and down a random path, doing this shit for no good reason, light attack, puncher and light attack, puncher and light, beast trap, spear, wall of elements, carry on. I'm practicing. If you don't do it, you're not going to get better at it. Also, a small point, I said about the light attack on the lightning stuff before. Nip that in between this and this. And this is how. See that? Spear, light, wall of elements, switch. Spear, light, wall of elements, switch. Spear, light. You can see it. Missed it, that one. Takes a bit of practice. Always put a light attack between everything if you can. Not all abilities allow you to do it, but that one does. And so does all the front bar stuff, the Vampire's Bane, the Puncture and Sweeps, and the Beast Trap too. Your switches have got to be faster to optimize your DPS, because you want to make sure you close these gaps. You don't want that to run out and stay off the floor. That's really important. Obviously you'll notice that we don't have entropy on. We don't have entropy on for multiple reasons. One, yes, it does give us some major skill passives and it'll put us over 42k spell damage. However, we'd have to lose a skill, which means we'd lose the crit bonus from Beast Trap. No thank you, I'm not losing that. Lose your Jesus Beam? Don't think so. Puncher and Sweeps? Nope. Crit and Max Magic? Nope, not losing that. Vampire's Bane? Why would you lose that? Minus Sorcery overall. 5% extra damage? Not losing that. Harness Magicka, need the shield. This is the bread and butter of our build. We need the Wall of Elements. We need the Rune Focus for sustain. We need the Spear, and we need that. Spear can be switched out for something utility-wise if you wanted, but for the purpose of this build, no good. So we're not swapping anything out. Also, you don't want to put entropy in your rotation just for the sake of major sorcery. You can have a Dragon Knight running igneous weapons, or you can use a potion, and this is exactly what I do. I use a potion. Now, potions are expensive, yes. This one isn't. Not as much. First of all, make sure in your skill line you have medicinal use. Go down to alchemy, level that up really quickly, dump all the rest of the skills, keep this one. It increases your potions so that the crafted ones last 47 seconds, which is 2 seconds over your cooldown, so they're up 100% of the time. One more skill while I'm on the way past it. Make sure you've got Undaunted passives maxed. You need those for resources. And also Fighter's Guild, make sure that you have Intimidating Presence, which will reduce the cost of your Beast Trap. Now, if we check the potions, which I was then getting to, I use these. Yes, there is another variation of this, which has crit on it as well. However, we don't need it, because we have it. We don't need it at all. We already have Major Prophecy. So instead of using 3 regents to create this potion, we only use 2. What do we use? We use these. We use Cornflower and Lady Smog. And that is it. We don't use anything else, just 2 of those. So get a load of those really cheap, bang out a load of potions, and you are sorted. There would be nice if you could get a health recovery one on it as well, maybe some health back, but unfortunately that's got Ravage Health on it, so you can't do it. So, 2 regents, 1 potion, done. Now, as I said already, because of the medicinal use that you should have, 47 seconds on the spell damage and the recovery you get from it. And the cooldown's 45 seconds, so that's permanent buff. Just make sure you stay on top of it, don't let it fall off. If your potion bar is grey, you're good. If it's not, and the little potion's sitting there and it's blue, you missed something and you're losing some damage. So keep that up all the time. We'll do a little bit of a... There's not much we can do with this because he's going to die too quick. That was poor. See, buffs aren't on properly. And let's get them on properly. Make sure we get minor sorcery on as well. Come here. Beast Trap. Minor sorcery's on. 48. Someone's on the boss. I heard the music. Oh, go, go, go! He's gonna get wrecked. Oh no, he's not. He's gonna kill it. Yeah, again, thank you everybody for watching and subscribing so far. Anyone who isn't already subscribing, please do so by hitting that button at the end of the video. And just to make you feel guilty, it's my birthday today, so I expect to see some more subscribers. But I did see a couple guys recently farming in, I'm never going to pronounce it properly, but the place that drops the Swamp Raiders set, and I asked him what weapons he was using, and he took a double take and then said, "Oh my god, it's you." And it turned out that he was actually wearing my build. So that was fucking amazing to be able to see someone actually not just paying attention but finding it useful. It was really, really cool, and that just really makes you realize why you should do this sort of stuff in the first place. It's so rewarding. So to that guy, I'll give a quick shout out. Nova Gamer, you know who you are. Thank you very much for following, and as much thanks to everybody else for following also. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.